Hey guys, this is Ramon from Modern. I hope you guys are having a great day. As always, please like, subscribe, and share the channel if you're enjoying the content. So today I wanted to talk about something that I've been doing in these last few months, which is drone photography. Drone photography, drone videos, something that I've been getting really excited about and I think has just sparked an interest in my creative photography and videography side. And I wanted to review one of my first ever drones that I ever bought, which is the DJI Mavic Pro. So the DJI Mavic Pro was first released in September of 2016. And since then, DJI has continued to release new and updated different versions of the Mavic series. They later followed up and made a sequel to the Mavic Pro, which is the Mavic Pro 2 that is out. And now they have like different categories now. So in addition to the Mavic Pro, which is I think kind of like the professional end type of drone series, they have the Mavic Air and before that the Mavic Air 1. And then for kind of the entry level, they have the DJI Mini and then the Mini 2. So with all those new drones, different categories of drones that DJI has released, and even some drones from other competitors, I'm going to discuss whether having the Mavic Pro right now is worth it going into 2021. So on the photo side, the Mavic Pro delivers some really fantastic high quality photos. It also has an option. You could also shoot in either JPEG or their RAW format, which is DNG. For both photos and videos, you're going to be shooting in shutter priority. It's not a fully manual type of control over the photography or videography. It's shutter priority, which is fine considering you really don't want to have too many variables when you're actually flying something that you have to concentrate on the flying as well as doing the shooting side. But the controls for taking photos is really simple. Taking photos and then taking video, they really set that up nice in this drone or throughout their series of drones that they produce. On the video side, the Mavic Pro shoots up to 4K. That's up to 30 frames per second, 30p or 24p. Other modes, you're going to be getting 1080 full HD. In my opinion, you're going to want to shoot 4K pretty much all the time, just because the 4K on this drone just looks really stunning. It looks really sharp. The 1080 60p looks a little soft, a little blurry, not as sharp as 4K. You could also choose a picture profile when you're shooting video. So you could have the option of shooting in a flat log type of profile and having more control over the color grading when you're doing the post-editing process. This is a feature that's missing in some of the entry-level drones from DJI, such as the Mini 2 and the original Mini. So let's talk about some of the price points for buying a used Mavic Pro right now. So currently the Mavic Pro retails for about $899 at the time of recording this video. On the used market, I've seen it fall anywhere between $600 and $799. I think that price point is a little bit too high, considering that there are just so many more drones out there. This is competing against the newer release Mini 2 that you could get for a really affordable price that's loaded with features. It's also competing with the Mavic Air 2, which is also just seems like a terrific drone to purchase and pick up since it's got 4K 60p. So and then also a string of other third-party manufactured drones that are out there. So yeah, it's kind of a hard sell at that point. I think a good price point for this drone would be maybe under 400, under 500. So I'm going to talk about some of the pros that come with buying the Mavic Pro. For one, it's got that 1-inch sensor, which really means you're going to get a high quality photos and video, even though it's still kind of limited to 4K 30p. It still has that 1-inch sensor, which means the imagery that will come from this drone is going to be nice. The Mavic Pro also offers speed of up to 40 miles per hour, and it has a flight time of up to 27 minutes. Now, I say it's about 27 minutes, but that's more about 20 or 21, depending on how far you fly out your drone. You've got to remember that you're going to have to save some time for the return back to you. So that's usually maybe 6 or 7 minutes, again, depending on how far you're flying your drone out. The Mavic Pro also has a number of follow modes that you could use to track your subject, which are really sharp and great to use. You have the option to get the drone to follow you from in front, from behind you, to do a circle while it's following you. Really terrific type of AI, artificial intelligent modes to use, so it's really impressive. The drone also has an obstacle avoidance that helps you avoid any obstacles that you might come into contact with. So now I'm going to discuss some of the things I do not like about this drone. Number one is going to be the sound. This drone is loud. It's obnoxiously loud. And in my opinion, you don't want a drone to draw that much, you don't want anything to draw that much attention to you. For one, if I'm paying this much for a drone, I want to be able to have some flexibility regarding the controls and whether it's going to sound like a bomb going off when I try to get it to return home. And I think it's understandable that DJI as a company wants to make sure you're flying safe and flying conservatively, and it's an unmanned aircraft, so they want to make sure safety is most important. But then again, if you're using this drone to maybe film an event or film a wedding, it's going to be kind of a big distraction, and that's something I in particular don't want. But yeah, that's one of the caveats and drawbacks of buying this drone. I found that there were like a few ways to go about silencing the loud sound coming from this drone. One is to lower the volume on your smartphone to make sure that you're not sending too many crazy loud sounds and blasting that out when you're outdoors. You still can't control the sound coming from your remote controller, so it's the thing that is funny is that the loudness is not coming from the drone in particular. It's mainly coming from your smartphone or coming from the controller, which you can't. There's a bunch of people that have tutorials on opening up the controller and doing some type of modifications to snuffle out that sound, but yeah, you don't want to. It's up to you to void that your warranty, whether you want to do that or buy another drone. So next on this list, one of the things I did not like about this drone is the controller. The controller is just designed so oddly. It's one of those things where if you want to connect your phone to the controller, which you have to do, you have to take it out of its case and connect it to the controller in order for it to stay secure to the controller. And it just always seems to be a big hassle when you're trying to connect your smartphone to the controller, and it's just placed in a really odd configuration. And to me, it was one of those things that I wasn't too fond of whenever I was trying to fly the drone out. There's also one really odd, buggy issue that I encountered when using the controller, which was that the drone has to be powered on, and then you have to power on the controller to connect it to the drone. It was like these odd, weird order of events where if you shut off the drone before you shut off the controller, you wouldn't be able to shut off the controller, and it was really annoying. But once you have once you know that there's a specific order that has to happen for you to turn off the drone, turn off the controller first and then turn off the drone, and then you could get it to work. But that was just a major annoyance when it came to first flying with the Mavic Pro. The good thing is the newer DJI controllers have kind of fixed whatever crazy issues or crazy order of operations that you have to do in order to connect the drone. It's really so. Another annoying issue that you might encounter when flying this drone is, I would say more in terms of drones in particular, is just flying a good spot to fly the drone. There's a lot of regulations that have come out in the past 4 or 5 years regarding flying drones. One, you need to register a drone if it's over a certain size or weight limit. So I think the fee is about $5, which is not too bad, but still it just means that you have to register it, and then you have to write a number, your registration number, on the drone itself. So small little hassle. The major thing that I've encountered, the major issue, is trying to find a place to fly a drone, because it has to be, you can't fly it over people, you can't fly it over busy areas, because if you lose control of the drone or if it crashes into something and then lands on somebody, then it's an unmanned aircraft. So even though it's tiny and small, we forget that drones are aircrafts, really. The DJI app wasn't, in my opinion, is kind of so-so. I think they've made some improvements, but sometimes they'll suggest a place to fly that won't be kosher or won't be allowed for you to fly the drone app. An app that I find really helpful is the Kitty Hawk app. Find it in your, the Apple Store, the Google Play Store. It's really helpful in finding good places to fly a drone. I think what I've found in particular when it comes to flying drones is that if you live it'll depend on where you live. So if you live in a metropolitan busy area, you might have to drive maybe an hour and a half to 2 hours to find a really great location that's convenient and allows drones and won't be too much of an issue when it comes to flying a drone. So I think going into 2021, there's a lot more competitors to the original Mavic Pro that are probably better options to buy. There's the Mavic Air 2, there's the Mini 2, there's even the Skydio, which is something that DJI doesn't make, but it's really, I've heard really good things about that drone. So yeah, going into 2021, probably not a good option to pick up the original Mavic Pro. But if you're fine with all the drawbacks for buying the original Mavic Pro, then yeah, I'd suggest finding a good location to practice and invest in some ND filters depending on the location, if you're in a sunny location, and have a fun time with it. It's still a great experience to fly with. So that's going to wrap it up for today. If you guys enjoy using drones, doing aerial photography, I would love to know your opinions, any suggestions, any favorite areas that you'd like to record at. Please leave a comment below. And also, if you enjoyed this episode, please like, subscribe, and share the channel. Thank you guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one.